What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Brutal Planet Comics. I'm your host, Trey the Brute Daniels. Happy Thursday to you all. It's Thursday, so you know we're going to be talking about the next episode of You Know What? She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Now, full disclosure. This episode, off the jump, I'm just going to be honest with you, was extremely boring. An absolute snooze fest. Let's just get that out the way. But there's a reason to rejoice, my children. There is a reason to rejoice. Because Daredevil was not butchered in this episode. Yes, rejoice because he wasn't in it. We got one more week of reprieve before we see whatever they do to my boy. So, as usual, we're going to keep the exact same format. We're going to give the good bits up and the bad bits are down. So let's up those down. So, kick things off with Jennifer Walters watching a Titania She-Hulk commercial, which breaks all logistical boundaries because I'm pretty sure she was just in prison. But somehow has an entire business. I don't even, and somehow trademarked the name while in jail. I can't even explain the logisticals behind how that's even possible. But whatever, she sees it, she's upset. And so she's eating ice cream, and then her cousin Ched pops in to try to get her to sign the She-Hulk fragrance and all that stuff merch because he thinks it belongs to her because she's She-Hulk. Now, this is what I'll say. I'm going to give Ched an up. This scene is not getting up, but Ched does. Ched gets an up because he's attempting to be entertaining in an episode that lacks just about any drop of it outside of that. So Ched, good on you. So he's trying to get her to sign, and he's like, well, you should have got a trademark, and he's trying to be funny. So I'll give Ched a little credit. Then we get right back to the stupid. So as I just mentioned, Titania was in prison. And then released after, well, first, let's lay down these charges. Destruction of government property. Assault. Attempted murder. And causing of a mistrial. These are felonies. But somehow, in between prison and wherever we are now, she's established this She-Hulk trademark line, which takes forever. Trust me, I have a couple trademarks myself. Takes forever to establish. Has a whole building full of She-Hulk merchandise. Owns stuff. I don't even want to know. I don't care. But whatever. So, Jen and Nikki go to the She-Hulk building. What? You figure that out to me. And then go in there and try to be like, hey, drop the lawsuit, whatever. It's my name. It's me. And she's like, I got to it first. Blah, 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 blah. And once again, Titania is a dummy. And whatever. And she's like, well, I got to it first. It's so ridiculous. It's so... The premise of this setup is bad. Even within its own universe, it doesn't make any sense. This is supposed to be setting up our A story. It doesn't make sense. I don't like it. Let's go ahead and get it down. So on to our B story. So we got Pug and Nikki. Pug goes to Nikki and basically says, hey, come wait in line with me to go and get the new Iron Man 3s. So I guess they're like the shoe brands and all that stuff like that. Because he collects them. Apparently, I guess that's one of his character traits. Whatever. So Nikki's like, well, I need a favor in return. He's like, alright, cool. And then he immediately just gives her like the inside scoop on he knows a guy who knows a guy that makes costumes and clothing for superheroes, which that information wasn't solicited, but whatever. He gave it to her, so we just gotta get this B story rolling. So they go to a coffee shop. Okay, here we go. They go to a coffee shop, which is a front for a seamstress. Creating costumes isn't illegal, so I don't... Unless there's something that wasn't established that I don't know about. Is costume making illegal? Or making clothes for superheroes illegal? Because I don't know why it would be a front. Usually you do a front if you're doing something that's against the law. Now, okay, so... They do this. They try to talk to the guy in Cola. Oh, I'm here to talk to the guy. And then Nikki says we're not cops in Chinese for reasons beyond my understanding. But I guess she assumed he was Chinese. I guess they're trying to be... Once again, no comedy to speak of. We don't know what comedy is. So whatever. So we move on. So the guy actually has some merch in the back that's counterfeit and is like the Avengers and it's spelled wrong and all types, whatever. It's supposed to be funny, I think. I don't know. Is this supposed to be funny? I'm confused. Is this supposed to be funny? I honestly don't know if I'm supposed to be laughing or not. But whatever. So basically they end up buying a bunch of stuff from so he can get the information for the real seamstress hidden base. I don't know what's going on. So they say that, oh, we got somebody that is an Avenger that needs a costume. It's all nonsense. It's all garbage. It's so incredibly boring. I just want this to end down. It's just nonsense. I can't even work with it. So once again, we have a scene where I'm going to give some credit. Holloway is sitting in the office, calls Jen in and says, hey, I saw a billboard saying She-Hulk by Titania or whatever. She goes into the spill of explaining, oh no, she's trademark. He's like, nah, I don't care nothing about that. Fact of the matter is, I got clients that basically saying we can't handle our business. And that's a problem because daddy wants some money. I like that. And I like everything that Holloway's talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and give Holloway, because I'm so desperate to find something good in this episode. I'm gonna give him an up because he's the only one saying anything that makes any logistical sense. Hey, I don't care about none of this. I need my money, so he gets an up. So then he's like, all right, we're gonna have to, clear this up, and we get Mallory Book to represent her. Now, they come off as if there's some kind of animosity between Mallory and Jen. Now, in the comics, yes, they're rivals. But in this show, it has not established their rivalry whatsoever. So Mallory being kind of like, oh, I have to establish that we're not colleagues. I'm your client. Da, da, da. I'm just like, bruh, none of this has been established for us, the audience, that y'all have beef. So you being catty doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just didn't get it. Whatever. These writers can't write. That's the bottom line. They can't write. So we get to the court scene. The Titania's lawyer is saying, hey, she didn't want the trademark. I mean, she didn't want the name because whatever, and didn't want it until it got popular. And which also doesn't make sense because they would have known the public dubbed her She-Hulk before the trademark. So to say that she didn't, oh, man. Oh, okay. Yeah, all this court stuff is dumb. And so Mallory comes out and is like, oh no, like the public has dubbed her this before the trademark even made any sense. She's profiting off of the family name of the Hulks and all that stuff like that. Which, okay, is a fine argument. And then he submits some stuff into evidence or whatever. So then God dang it! Why is Titania an idiot? I'm confused. They can't write. These people can't write. They can't write. She's a ditzy moron too. Like, oh my god, I sell my products. I'm like, oh, to the judge. I want to submit this to evidence. I can't, man. It's just so ridiculous. So then her lawyer presents, like when she was coming out, hey, I don't associate with that name, whatever case may be. Blah, 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 trying to seal his case. But Mallory says that, hey, they have some more evidence forthcoming to, whatever, to prove their case. So it's going to go to, so they'll have another day or whatever to get the evidence. And so they'll have another hearing. This was so incredibly boring. There was nothing. Like, it was just boring and weird and obnoxious. I don't know what these writers are doing. It's nonsense. And it's boring down. And no one has addressed her charges. No one has addressed that this girl was in jail for felonies. I can't. Okay, so we meet Luke Jacobson. Now I believe that Luke Jacobson in Earth's 616 comic continuity, I believe he was a seamstress. Now I don't know too much about this character. I don't know if he made costumes for the heroes and stuff. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that I know that they said Luke. I'm assuming this is Luke Jacobson. I could be wrong, but I'm going to assume that it is. So they meet him, and Nikki's like, oh, this is the client, She-Hulk, whatever. And basically saying that I'm not trying to take her on as a client. I only deal with high clientele. But at the same time, you're running an underground business. Oh, okay. I don't know how you do a high clientele and your business is secretive, but whatever. I'm not even going to hurt my head on that. So Nikki convinces Luke to make Jen custom clothes once she realizes how big of a challenge it will be, because she can be large and small simultaneously. So he takes it as a challenge, like, oh, this is going to be a golden opportunity for me to do something artsy or whatever. But once again, I don't know. There's certain things, like certain mannerisms, I guess they're trying to play off for laughs, but once again, it's not funny. Where's the comedy? Where is the comedy? There's none. There's 5 episodes and there's been 0 laughs. Alright, so then we... Oh, Jesus Christ. So then we go back to the firm, and the plan is to get one of the creepy Tinder dates, matcher dates, to go and be the witness, basically saying that She-Hulk is She-Hulk because that's the way she introduced herself to him and all that other stuff. And once again, I don't... Whatever. Moving on. So then she's outside having lunch, and then only now, after seeing the dude, comes with the plan like, oh wait, I made a whole profile as She-Hulk and went on a bazillion dates.
Bruh.
You're a lawyer and you just thought of this? You have literal visual evidence, documented evidence, and digital evidence of you being She-Hulk. And using that moniker as yourself. And you're just thinking about this after this? Who is writing that? She's a lawyer. She's just thinking about that. Oh my god. Because when I saw this scene, right when I saw the court scene, first thing came to my head, I said, oh yeah, she's definitely She-Hulk because she went on dates as She-Hulk. And now she thinks of it? You're a lawyer. All of this makes no sense. All of this was incredibly boring. All of this was nonsensical and stupid. All of it gets it down. I'm so... It's just so boring. I can't. It's just so boring. Okay. Moving on. So we're back in court, and and here comes the laughs. So it submits the evidence as the matcher profile is the evidence. Like, oh look, this is, and she describes what she's into, and what is that? I'm mean green and straight, poured into these jeans. I guess these supposed to be the laughs and like things you're looking for in a mate is a strong back and a sturdy bed.
Rage quit.
I guess it's the evidence. And so then, of course, you already know what's coming up next. We gotta go and have all of our useless dates show up and talk about, yeah, she's She-Hulk, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then we get the one that was gonna be good, and then the testimony is like, oh, after y'all had this great date, would you have dated Jen? And she's like, nah. Woo! Okay, so it's like, would you have dated Jen if he were She-Hulk? Nah, bruh. So all that evidence, with her actually being She-Hulk, because she is, sway the judge to be like, okay, yeah, you're She-Hulk. Titania can't use the trademarks anymore. So Titania loses the case, and whatever, looks as disinterested as I am because we're all bored out of our minds because this was a case of no consequences. There was no consequences here. It was a suit and a countersuit. A suit saying, hey, you can't be She-Hulk, even though, let me tell you how stupid this whole suit was, even though Jennifer Walters never used the name She-Hulk to gain profit at all. And they didn't use the moniker. She didn't create the moniker. It's not even a conflict of interest because she didn't even start it. It was the public. So the fact that this lawsuit is even happening is ridiculous because you are trying to sue someone for a trademark that you have that they didn't even establish.
You came here to die.
Who's writing this? Do they not know anything about law at all or trademarks? Does any of these people run a business? The point of the matter is all of this was nonsensical. All of this was stupid. This whole court thing is a farce and it was boring down. So, oh yeah, of course. We have this moment where Mallory says to She-Hulk that, hey, you know what that guy said about you not being worth it or whatever case may be? You don't need guys like that. You can be better. You can do much more. Of course, we can't go an episode without a kick to the digital male nards. Just wanted to point that out. And they're like, oh, let's go get a drink. So they get a drink and of course, more girl boss. Yeah, girl boss time. Yeah. And then Jen's like, oh, I'm so glad we're becoming friends. And then, of course, there's an awkward silence because we as the audience are supposed to be like, oh, they're supposed to be becoming friends, even though it hasn't been established that they're rivals. Who's writing this? Christ. So they have a drink, and then Mallory leaves, whatever. Jen goes back to Luke Jacobson to get her new suits, and she's trying them on and all other great stuff and whatever. Of course, off screen because they're trying to save it for the next episode. And then we get the reveal that Luke Jacobson is also working on Daredevil's new costume. Now, I don't know why that's a big reveal. I guess it's once again try to segue into the next episode that we're going to have Daredevil. I guess, but bruh, all of this was so low. I mean, so boring. This was so boring. All of this, that ending with Mallory, you didn't establish that they're rivals. Now you're saying that they're friends. Now you're putting on the costume, so you don't want to show us, trying to trick and bait us, and then give us the Daredevil helmet. You all should be ashamed. This was nonsense. This ending sequence was a complete and utter waste of my time, and it was boring as sin down. What a waste! God, this was boring. Lord Jesus. So, tell me, what did you guys think about this episode of She-Hulk? Look, it was boring as a mug. Once again, they've already said that they do not know how to do court dramas, and they don't know how the law works. They've already admitted it in writing, and have submitted that to us. They don't know how to write anybody, any characters. They don't know how to write men. They don't know how to write women. They don't know what they're doing, and they're proving it. They cannot write comedy to save their miserable lives. This has all been an absolute nightmare and boring. I had to literally peel my eyes open to keep me staring at it. This entire episode gets a big old down. Good Lord. There was nothing redeemable about this episode. Nothing. I guess Ched trying and Holloway making sense. But I'm desperate. I'm desperately reaching. Just to have something. Oh, what a nightmare. So tell me what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section below. Did you like it? Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you think this is the greatest episode of all time. I don't know. Maybe you really liked it. I know I didn't. Yeah, whatever. So I'm also going to leave all my other She-Hulk reviews in the description section below if you haven't checked out all my other ones. Good grief. if you like to torture yourself. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, and follow me on those dope social media platforms here over there. As usual, you all have been awesome, and I'll catch you all next time. Also, if you want to support my channel, check out spinwiz.com or download the Spinwiz app and check out my comic series Trouble. It was written with a lot of love, and it was definitely my favorite comic series to write. I've also written it in English and in Spanish, so whatever floats your boat, I got it for you. Thanks again, and check it out.